Today we are going to start the measures of central tendency, and there are basically three measures. One is the mean, median and the mode. But these three tendencies exist for the case of grouped as well as the ungrouped data. So we will see all of them in the upcoming lectures, but in this lecture we are going to see the mean basically, and not all the types of means are basically of 4 types, but in this particular lecture we are going to start the arithmetic mean. Okay, we have other types as arithmetic mean, geometric mean, harmonic mean and quadratic mean. We will see all of them one by one in the upcoming lectures. So firstly we have the arithmetic mean. I guess you are already familiar with the arithmetic means, because this arithmetic mean, simple average, they all mean the same. Arithmetic mean in case of ungrouped distribution is nothing but just an average, simple average. Okay, like sum of all the values divided by the total number of values. I guess we have done this many times in our lives. So this is just like that in case of ungrouped data. Like you can see over here, the formula for the arithmetic mean, this one is arithmetic mean, is sum of all the values means the data we will be given in our example or problem, divided by the total number of values. So you can represent this with sigma x over capital N. N means total number of values and sigma x means sum of all the values. This is very simple. But in case of grouped frequency in distribution, the formula differs a little bit. And what's the difference? In this case we have to, you can say here that I am taking the sum of the all data values, but before taking the sum I'm doing what? I'm also multiplying the frequency with x. This means what? That we have to multiply the frequency of that particular data value with, you can say that we have to multiply frequencies with that particular data values, and then we have to take its sum. This fx will be performed first. There will be a separate column for this, and then we will take this addition. Okay, and this sigma f represents what? It is the total number of values. We have seen in the previous lecture that this sigma f is the total number of values, because f is what? Frequency is the number of values, right, of that particular you can say class or like this. So the only difference in this and in this is that we have involved the term frequency, and here it means the capital N. You can also write capital N here, because in this case we are also dealing, we are only dealing with the you can say total number of values only. So sigma f and capital N, they both mean the same. So sum of all the values multiplied by the respective frequencies and divided by the total values. Okay, so let's see examples of both one by one. Firstly we have this example, that the scores of the student are as follows: calculate the average. These are the scores. Now you can see that the range of the data is not large, right? Like here our minimum value is 25 and our largest value is 50, right? So there are no extreme values, there are no outliers. So in this case, as we have discussed in the previous lecture, that in that case we don't need the grouped frequency distribution, right? We can only deal with the ungrouped distribution because range is small. So I'm taking this formula from the ungrouped distribution, right? That is sum of values by the total values. So total values are 6 and all its sum, then we get the 41. And one thing you have to remember here is that arithmetic mean does not exist in the data itself. Okay, because this can be troublesome if you see that this 41 has come but you are not seeing 41 over here anywhere, right? So you must know that arithmetic mean does not, it can exist or it cannot exist in the data. Okay, so this was pretty simple. So let us discuss about the grouped frequency distribution. So here you can see in the other example, in class of 30 students, their marks in mathematics are shown below. Calculate the average. So now we are just told to calculate the average. We are not told that calculate the average for the grouped distribution or ungrouped. We have to know it ourselves. That here you can see we are given with the class limits. These marks obtained are the class limits, right? And if you don't know what are class limits and all this stuff, you need to see the previous lecture. I have discussed this in detail, okay? So these are the class limits. These are the number of students in this particular marks. From 10 to 20 there are 5 students who got marks. From 10 to 20 there are 5 students who got marks in between 20 to 30, okay? So this basically the number of students is what it is, the frequency, right? This is frequency. We have discussed that the frequency means the number of items in or number of values, number of students, number of people, like this. This is the frequency. So this data is given to us already, okay? These two columns are not given, but these two, you can say the data is given. We are given the class limits already and we were given the frequency, okay? And sum of the frequency is 30, right? Now after getting all after this information that we are given with, next we have to see these two columns. This class mark, what is this class mark? We have to get it ourselves, right? Here you can see that basically we are taking the midpoint of the class limit. 10 plus 20 divided by 30 and divided by 2 gives us 15. Then again 20 plus 30 divided by 2 gives us 25. This is how we find the midpoints, okay? And your question can be why I am finding you can say midpoints, because I haven't told you that you have to find midpoints as well. So see over here in the formula, first of all we have to get the sigma. It is later thing. We have to get what? We have to get fx first, right? F, we know that our f is given. We can also get this one easily. We are given with this one. But where to get this x? See here, we are given the limits that from 10 to 20, 20 to 30, there is no specific x, right? We cannot put only 10 or only 20 in our formula as x, but we have to take we have to consider this whole range, right? So for that case we take the midpoints always, and we represent midpoints with x. You can also write midpoint here, and in brackets you can write x. So in case of class limits, in all our upcoming formulas we will use midpoints, that is x, okay? So after taking its midpoint we get these midpoints, that is x. Next thing we have to do is what? F into x. Don't be confused by this I, you can skip this. So now f into x means that we have to multiply this frequency with this midpoint, okay? Midpoints are very important. You have to remember that you have to take midpoints when you are given with the grouped frequency distribution, okay? So 15 into 5 gives us 75. Then again in the next class, again to do the same, f into x. F is my 5 and midpoint is 25. It gives us 125, and like this. So the total sum of all these f into x is 1020. This means sum of fx column is 1020. And we know that we needed only these two things for our formula. First is this sum of all the values, that is 30 or capital N, or the next thing is f into x, that is x is our midpoint or data values, and this f is the frequency. And you see here I didn't take the sum first and then multiplied with f, okay? First we have to multiply that midpoints with f, then I have to take its sum in the end, okay? So simply put this formula and divide, so you can get this 1020 by 30 is 34, right? So I hope you have gotten this, that how we have solved this problem. The only tricky thing is that you have to take the midpoints, you have to remember it, okay? So okay, next we can also see some properties of mean. Two basic properties you have to remember, because this can be asked in MCQ style question. They're very simple, so just see here. Number one is the sum of deviation of data values taken from the mean or arithmetic mean, or you can say average, is always 0. Firstly, you just have to understand what is deviation, then you can get all this very easily. So deviation basically means that when a particular number, any constant, is subtracted from all the observations of the data or all the data values, when we subtract a particular number from all the data values, that is called as the deviation. Okay, so in this case you can see this, ignore the sum for a while. So deviation of data values taken from the mean, it means that take this deviation as subtraction for a while, that we have to subtract all the data values from where, from the mean. We are given some data values in our example, in our question, and we have to subtract all those data values from the mean. And after subtracting all those data values, we get a particular number of values, and then if we add all those values, if we take the sum of all those values, then that sum is always going to be 0. Okay, deviation is not basically a simple subtraction, but deviation is when a particular number is subtracted. But in this case, which number is being subtracted? The mean is subtracted from the data values. Okay, so sum of deviation of data values taken from the mean, that is subtract data values, each data value, okay, from mean one by one, and then add all those values that have come, so their sum will become 0. This is the property, this must happen. Okay, that is subtracting every single data value from the mean, then taking sum of them gives us 0. Okay, I hope you have understood this problem. If yes, then this one is very easy for you. See here, sum of squared deviation of data values taken from the mean is always minimum, then taking deviation from any random data value. Now if you know that what is deviation, then you can clearly understand it, that here we were just taking sum of the deviation of taken values from the mean, but here we are doing what? We are taking sum of squared deviations. It means what? Suppose this x is our data value, right, and we are subtracting what? We are subtracting mean, this arithmetic mean, because we have to take deviation from where? From the mean. Subtract the data values from the mean. So this is over here, but the extra thing over here is squared deviation. Squared means take the square of this whole term. It's not that this square is also on this sigma, but square deviation only, right? So x minus arithmetic mean and whole square. Okay, so it is the sum of squared deviation of data values from the mean is always minimum, that is less than or equal to, then taking deviation from any random data value. Here I'm taking this deviation from a means any constant value, any data value from your data, any random value you can pick. Okay, and this x is what? All the data values. Subtract any particular random data value from all the data values and take its square, and then take sum of all the values that you have got after the subtracting. It is always going to be greater or equal to than this deviation from the mean. Okay, so this is the basic concept. I hope you have gotten these two properties. So that's it for today. Thank you.